This interview was conducted on Tuesday, August 5th, 2025. Before the start of the school year, it is just taking me forever to edit an episode. Thank you for listening. I hope you enjoy the episode. Hi, this is Celeste Taylor, and you found yourself in the lesbian class. Whether you're crocheting, folding laundry, or puttering in your garden, I'm so happy you're here, and I hope you have a few takeaways. Ring, ring. Class is in session. My guest today is Dallas, an elementary school teacher with 13 years experience. She's Canadian and my first international guest. She's one of the SOGI school leads for her elementary school in British Columbia. And fun fact, we met while teaching abroad in South Korea. She's lesbian and uses she, her pronouns. Welcome to the lesbian class, Dallas! Yes, I just made Dallas spit up all over herself right before we started recording. This is probably not going to be my most professional interview.
But the most fun.
Yes, but the most fun. It's so fun to have a friend on. And we go way back.
Yeah, back to Hongdae days.
Yeah, and what, 15 years? Oh my goodness.
Yeah, something like that.
15 years ago.
Yeah.
That's wild. The good old days.
When we were straight.
Yes, when we were very straight. Very straight. So true. Oh my goodness. The memories. The horrors. Yeah. I totally thought you were straight the entire time we were friends.
So did I.
Okay. Always talking about what boy band boy you were in love with.
Yeah.
But
not
then
anymore.
Yeah, but I was gonna say, let's just think about it. Most of those boys look like girls anyway, so
It's true.
they're very feminine. They're very pretty boys.
Yes.
And when we used to spend our weekends hunting for hidden cafes around Seoul, mostly Hongdae.
Yeah.
Those were the good days.
Hello Kitty.
The Peanuts Cafe.
Hmm?
We never found never found the goat cafe. No, we did.
We did find the goat.
No, we did.
The goat was on a farm.
And I just remember turds, so I think we did find it, right? Like little goat turds.
I think so.
Okay. Anyway, I can't believe you've hit year 13. I've got 13 years under my belt. This is year 13 for you.
Lucky 13.
That's what we're going to go with. I'm so superstitious. But so maybe a 1-2 combo for you again this year?
Yeah, it's probably more of a 2. But on paper it's a 2, but you know, with the kids in the classrooms, it's K to 3.
Well, yeah, of course, right? And then is your school, I'm figuring, big on differentiation, right? Just making sure you're meeting the needs of all of the kids, which is so tricky because, yeah, when you do have second graders or grade 2s who are at a kinder level, it's, I don't want to say a time suck because I don't want to come off as cold or heartless or, cutthroat or not non-caring, but it's so challenging.
It is.
Because those are the kids who need the most support. Yeah. And I remember the last year I was teaching first grade 1, and I had the 6th grade reading level kids, but then I also had the not really reading kiddos, right?
Yeah.
And I funneled 90% of my attention into those non-readers because those other kids who were reading at a 6th grade level, they didn't need me, right? But then toward the end of the school year, I felt as though I was failing those high achievers also because they deserved just as much attention. Yeah. As the low level kids, you know?
Yeah. And that's probably the biggest struggle is, you want to meet all the needs, but the ones that are, at the one end of the spectrum, they're going to get all your time. Thankfully, I have had wonderful EA support in my room, and so they'll support me either with their kiddo, or if I want to work with the kiddo, and they'll go work with a little small group. And yeah, it's been nice that way, but I'm not always lucky to have that support.
Well, I was going to ask, does every teacher have an EA in their classroom? Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. If you have a special needs student in your classroom, you'll get an EA, yeah?
Well, no.
Oh.
It depends on the designation, and it depends on the type of needs that they need. So someone with their high functioning autism, they're not going to probably get an EA support.
That makes sense. That makes sense. We call them just aides here, or actually I think the new phrase or term is paraprofessional.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
In California schools, at least. I don't know about the rest of the country, but education assistant, is that what your EAs are standing for?
Yeah. And so we do it. So last year I was lucky and I had 3 amazing EAs in my room. And so they didn't have the whole day with the one student because he was exhausting. He had his own little personality, but the sweetest, but also the wildest. And a lot of times, because I could handle him, my time would get taken away, which was unfortunate because I had other kids that had needs as well, but they weren't as big as other kids' needs.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. Did those other kids you're talking about have, do you call them IEPs, individualized education programs?
Now they're called CBIEP, so competency-based IEPs.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so all those other kids had IEPs also? Or maybe they just had needs?
One of the other ones had an autism diagnosis, but he was pretty high functioning. And then another one, I think, was going in that direction. I think that was it. And then at the very end of the year, I had another student with autism come join my class for, I think, 6 weeks or something.
You were 1-2 last year?
Yeah.
And tell me, you mentioned, do you teach in a high poverty area?
Yeah. It's on the outskirts.
Because I worked for a district that had a high homeless student population.
Okay.
And a high parental incarceration rate.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
ours isn't like that, but low income, very low income. Which
brings its own issues.
Yeah. But the loveliest, I had the loveliest class last year. I looped one of my kids last year. And so I even said to him, I'm like, isn't this group of kids, aren't they so wonderful? And he was like, yeah.
Nice.
They're so good.
Oh, we've got to keep that energy for you.
Right?
For this year.
Yeah.
For this year, yeah. That's so funny. That reminds me of when I was teaching 3rd grade, and I had taught 3rd grade one year, and my colleague had so many issues with this boy. All we would hear the whole year is so-and-so, so-and-so, so-and-so. She had so many issues with this boy. We'll call him boy. And the whole year it was boy. She was talking about this boy. And then his parents fought tooth and nail to have him retained. And so my whole group, there's 4 of us, 3rd grade teachers, and everyone was so worried about getting boy, right? And I was just, because how many times have you interacted with a kid and thought to yourself, oh my gosh, I don't like that kid. But then 12 other teachers at your campus could interact with that same kid and say, he's cool. I have no issues with him. It's a personality thing, I think, so often. And so boy ended up getting placed in my classroom the following year. And my colleague had come to me and she's saying, just watch out for this. And I was like, it's all good. We're good. I said, because I didn't want any preconceived notions tainting my view of this boy. I hadn't met boy, even though he was in third grade. I never really interacted with him too much. And so he was a rock star in my class. He was, I would say, one of my top students, just top performers, socially, emotionally, and who knows, maybe it was because he was able to mature, right? Who knows?
Yeah.
He was a year older. He had a very successful year, and that whole class, that whole group was one of those just really cool units, right? When I think about my classes as cohesive units, and we're just jiving, right? And then the synergy in the classroom and the positive energy and just happier school days,
Yeah.
So nice when that happens.
Yeah, it is. Fingers crossed.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, one question I had. So, as a Canadian, this is different for us. So, I have a continuing contract, which means I don't apply for my position anymore. You in America, you don't have continuing contracts, or it's just like 5-year contracts?
So you were watching my interview with Becky from Texas, right?
Yeah.
Because Texas is so effed. I'm sorry. That state just sounds because I don't, we're 50 states here, right?
Yeah.
And Americans in general, and I'm no different, we're clueless for the most part about how other states are run, right? Because we are so different, especially in today's day, right? And so just even hearing everything she was saying about education in her state was mind-blowing to me. But so in California, teachers will be on a preliminary contract for 2 years.
Okay.
Say you go and get your first job and you are hired on with District XYZ, and you'll be on a preliminary contract for 2 years with probation. But after that, so during those 2 years, your principals, if you have two, will go into your classroom, I don't know, 4 times a year maybe, and watch you teach a lesson and then write a report about you. And then after those 2 years are done, you've earned your permanent status, and AKA tenure in California. But if you change districts, which I did, right? You'll go through that same 2-year probationary period, and then earn your permanent status. But I don't know how, every other state does it, because it's funny, before I talked with Becky, I just presumed every other state did it the way we did it, right? Yeah. And I had no idea that Texas teachers will only ever reach 5 years, right? Like a 5-year contract time. And I do think that there are pluses to that system. I think there are minuses to the system, but the way that California has it set up, I can't tell you how many veteran teachers I worked with who already had 1 foot out the door, majorly 1 foot out the door, beat down, burned out, just, by the system. And I'll always remember my first, not counting student teaching, my first year teaching, actually this might have been my second year. And there were these 2 teachers, and they were BFFs, and they both taught grade 2. And, I don't know how y'all run your parent pickup, or, at the end of the school days, usually a hog wild nutso mess for the first couple of weeks of the school year, right? Before everyone remembers what to do, right? And so I remember we were getting the kids to sit on this grassy area where they had to wait until their name was called, and they go out to the car. And these 2 women were lions on a parakeet. I don't know what kind of analogy to use. These 2 women started screaming at this one kid. And I'm standing there going, what's happening? What's happening? What's happening? Hello? Anyone know what's going on? To be ganged up on by 2 screaming teachers, totally unacceptable. And I thought, right, and that was like the first week or 2 of school. And I said, oh, no. These women need to be handed some Xanax, something. They need to be placed somewhere else.
Mm-hmm.
They do not need to be around students anymore. They were so done. And I want to say one of them went on to teach 2 or 3 more years and the other one 5 or 6 more years.
Wow.
And I know. And that's when I really believe that school districts need to put teachers on, maybe after a teacher has taught for 15 years, maybe, then turn it into, 2-year contracts. Really? That's how teachers can get a bad rap, those old, tired teachers.
Old biddies.
Yeah. And I burnt out after 6 years. So I'm not going to sit here and say, I have so much judgment on them. The only judgment I have on them is that they didn't get themselves the hell out when they needed to. I 100% understand how and why that would happen, right? It is an untenable lifelong career done right.
Yeah.
You can do a shitty job and stay a teacher for 40 years. I think that it's totally exhausting if you put your blood, sweat, and tears into every group of kids who crosses your path,
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, so tell me about this, because you're mentioning the Rainbow Club to me that you're running.
So do you guys have GSAs in the States?
Mm-hmm. Okay. But wait a second. Now it's called, Gender and Sexuality Alliance. Because now it used to be the Gay Straight Alliance, Gender and Sexuality Alliance.
Yes. Yeah. So at our little school, we're the second school, I think, in our town to have Rainbow Club for elementary kids. And it's just a safe place for anyone to come. They have to have a good attitude. They can't, be disrespectful to others. We've had kids from grade 1 all the way to grade 5 come and eat their lunch, and we've made buttons. We had a couple speakers come in. We had a dance party. We read books and just chit chat, and it's amazing.
Nice. Yeah. So how are you marketing this to both the students and admin and parents, and what's the reception been?
So I made a flyer, and it just says, come to Rainbow Club. And I found a picture with all the hands and all the flags on it. And it just said a safe and inclusive space to hang out or something. And the principal looked at it and she's like, yeah, that's fine. She's like, I just need to know what is on the thing in case I have parent pushback. And I don't think we've had any that I am aware of. And kids that maybe it's not for them, they'll come to a meeting and they'll check it out, and then they just don't come the next time. Our first meeting, I thought we'd have maybe 5 kids. And we had 18 kids come.
Wow.
Yeah. A lot of them were allies. But You know what? We need all the allies we can get.
100%. And so how old was the youngest? And then I'm figuring, because your school goes up to 5th grade or grade 5?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So the youngest would have been 6, 7. And the oldest, I don't know how old grade 5s are.
10, 11.
Yeah. And so we start off our meetings with a little morning meeting circle. And so we tell them what zone we're in, and we always ask a question. So the first one was, why do you want to be in Rainbow Club? Or why did you show up? And a lot of them, it was just it's raining outside. I just wanted to not go outside for lunch. And that's fair. And some kids were like, well, my friend is non-binary, and so I just wanted to be a good ally for them. And,
oh my goodness.
Yeah. And one person was like, oh, I have, my friend's mom has a girlfriend. And then one girl at the very end, she goes, I'm a lesbian. Now she's pansexual. And we're like, you can do whatever you want, honey.
That's great. And so it's you running Rainbow Club with someone else on your campus?
Yeah. And then we meet in the library. So it's a very neutral place. Mm-hmm. And we have about at least 5 other staff that join us too. And
oh,
yeah, so it's really cool.
Nice.
Yeah.
Because are you the only queer educator on your campus? Remind me.
So there's me, and then we have a preschool teacher who is in the community. That's all that I'm aware of. It could just be people that are just not out, but I don't know.
Is that preschool teacher out?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
Who's messaging you? I'm hearing all these messages coming.
Sorry, it's my email that keeps popping up.
Oh, okay. Is that Outlook?
Yeah. I wasn't sure if you could hear it or not.
Yeah, it's coming through. That's funny. So, Rainbow Club, has your Princey stopped by any of the meetings yet?
No, she's usually putting out fires during lunchtime, dealing with other things, so she hasn't popped in yet.
Do you feel supported by your admin?
I do. Most of the time, I do.
You have been teaching at your school now for what? 9 years? No.
8 years.
You taught at one other school before you moved to this school?
No, I TOC'd for the first year.
So tell our American listeners what TOC is.
Oh, sorry. Teacher on call.
Okay. Substitute? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Sorry.
We gotta translate. Dallas. No.
Like closed captioning on the bottom.
Hey, yeah, that's a good idea. You know I do that. Yeah, I can do that. I'm getting fancy.
Yeah.
So, okay, so you subbed for your first year.
Yeah.
And then, but I'm figuring you were a sub at a plethora of elementary schools.
The year that I was there, as subbing, I had a lot of longer contracts. So I think I had a 3-month contract and then a 6-week contract, and
okay, so you're doing like the longer term subbing.
Yeah. And then I subbed at the school that I'm at, and it just was a good fit with the staff, and a lot of us have been there for a long time. I'm one of the old timers now. Yeah.
Actually, I mean, okay, so after I started my teaching career in one district in Southern California, and then I moved up north, right? Worked for a different district. Well, I did great keeping in contact with all my teacher friends from my first district for 3 years. I think it was a COVID thing. It was definitely a COVID thing. COVID, who'd anyone talk with? I don't know. But then I got sick. I was really sick at that time, so that affected my relationships for sure. But where I'm going with this is, out of all of the people I worked with and say around my age and who started with me, one is still a teacher at the school I used to teach at. And everyone else, so I haven't been able to find out where this one gal went because I've lost touch with her and don't know. One person is an assistant principal now at a whole other school. 2 got cush, yes, I am saying cush gigs as TOSAs, teachers on special assignment. I tell you, people like them, and see, that's probably what I would have done too. I'd probably be a TOSA right now if I were still teaching.
Like, what would a special assignment be?
Don't get me started. A special assignment. I'm probably going to get canceled for this. No. Teachers on special assignments can have a range of different duties. This one man, he's retired now, so I could talk shit about him. This one man got a TOSA gig at this old district I taught for, and his job was to train all of us, right? So, you have staff meetings, and then so certain parts, so say half of certain staff meetings throughout the year, this man would come and give a presentation on Singapore math or whatever other baloney mumbo jumbo was the it thing at the time, right? Thinking maps or something. And that was the year I was in a very rough school. Long story, I'm not getting into it. And I was teaching 6th grade. And these kids had me questioning the meaning of life. Every day. And I would see this dipshit walk in with his cup of coffee, a cross the playground every morning from the office to his, I don't know, he didn't actually have a classroom. I was going to say, I don't know why they gave him a classroom. He was in a closet, but hey, I'll go sit in a closet with my cup of coffee all day doing jack shit. You know, like I have a lot of opinions on certain TOSA assignments. I guess that's redundant.
He was in your building.
He was, okay, so he and 3 other people got these teacher on special assignment gigs, right? Where they were providing training for a lot of teachers. Ooh. And so one day when I didn't have recess duty, I said, I'm going to go and say hi because I'm a shit. And I walked in and he's sitting there, feet up on his desk, doing, what did I just say? Jack shit. And I said to myself, I was just so angry, right? So internally angry. But this one district that I started my career with is all about connections because it was a smaller district. Smaller districts have perks for certain people. He was one of those people. But to see him just sitting there and me on the verge of tears, just dealing with my very challenging class that year, right? These kids were very high needs. That was the school, very high parental incarceration rate and high poverty, lack of support. I digress. So TOSA, that's TOSA.
Okay.
I know, internet, that not every TOSA position is a cakewalk like his was. I know. I am just saying, if you are a tired teacher, get yourself a TOSA position. If you're in California. Anyway, so you're on year 8.
Yes.
Okay.
In my own classroom, yes.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah.
And I feel like I digressed so much from what we were initially talking about. So in the 8 years you've taught at your school, I could imagine that's 8 different classes, lots of parents coming through. Yeah. Have you had your same administrator all those years?
No.
Okay.
So the admin changes. So the first person I had, I think she was there for 2 years. And then we had a change and we had 2 new admins. So we had our VP and I think the VP, one of the VPs was new and the principal changed. And that was for 3 years. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. And then now we've had our VP and our principal for this is the 4th year that they've been there.
Mm-hmm. Is that common in your district to?
Yeah.
They don't let principals stay at a school?
Not usually, no.
Interesting. I think there's some wisdom to that. What do you think?
I think so. People get, I think, stagnant a lot of the times. It's nice having a new perspective. Maybe a principal's coming from like not a low income school. And so maybe they'll have different ideas on how to get the kids to up their potential and be trying them out. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't work. Mm-hmm. It's just nice getting new points of view.
Sure, that makes sense. Yeah. And also, goodness forbid, someone doesn't jive with the Princey, then you don't have to spend your whole career with that person.
Exactly.
Or move sites.
Yeah.
I got lucky as far as my teaching career. Well, actually, I say that in retrospect. I think I had 2 decent, funny enough, they were both male, 2 decent principals. Well, because they're just very hands-off, right? They're very like, you do you. And I want to say I did have an issue with a parent this one year around the holidays when people tend to go cuckoo, cuckoo. Mm-hmm. He really came. He had my back. That really gave me a whole newfound, like a much larger respect for him, because it's so easy for a principal to throw a teacher under the bus just to make their job easier, to placate a parent or guardian, right?
I've been really lucky. Like my admin have always had my back when I was in the closet and even out of the closet. I've been very lucky.
That's good.
Yeah.
I was outed. I didn't know I was outed by a colleague of mine until the end of the school year, my other colleague told me. And so it was kind of, and I was already moving schools. I thought I was moving up north that year, but I ended up not. And so I ended up at that rough school I was telling you about a little bit. And I said to myself, it probably worked out for the best because that particular principal was super Bible thumpy, very Christian. And I could see her potentially treating me very differently the following year. So that's awesome.
Yeah.
That you have a supportive admin and you feel, it seems like you're really happy at your site.
Yeah, it's good. And I have my flag up in the classroom and little flags are sort of everywhere. And then other teachers have their flags in their rooms, and we all have these little rainbow stickers. And my one friend has a cricket thing, and she made little rainbow hearts that we put in our windows.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, and talk to us about SOGI 123 because I know a little bit about it, but I'm no expert like you're the SOGI lead. One of them.
I'm still learning. SOGI 123 stands for Sexual Orientation. I don't even know what is it? Gender
identity.
No one ever calls it that. We just call it SOGI. It's just SOGI. And I have a fun little sweatshirt that the leads were made, but it has our district logo on it. So I'm not going to show it. So it's a resource, which is a big misconception among a lot of people. They say it's curriculum. We're indoctrinating kids. Not the case at all. Anyone can go to the SOGI 123 website. Did you go to the website?
I did.
Yeah, and so it's a wonderful resource. You can get book ideas. It's just a place to go where in grade 1 and grade 2, it's all about families. So different kinds of families. What is a family? My family looks different than your family. My parents are married. Joe down the street, maybe he lives with grandma. So it's not always about same sex.
Right.
Which is what people think it is.
Right. What would you want to say to people? Because in addition to checking out the website, I watched a whole bunch of YouTube videos of, gosh, there's been so many protests as of late. It seems like people are getting more up in arms about it because as far as I understand, SOGI was started in 2016. And that was a while ago.
Yeah.
So I don't know if it's just this Trumpy rhetoric that is just this slime that is infiltrating the whole entire world, right? And so it's not only Americans who are going cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. It seems like Canadians also, are becoming very divisive about certain topics. And this is one. And it seemed like, so I was watching a bunch of these protests and some news briefs about it. And then, of course, you have your conservative politicians who say that SOGI 123 is sexualizing children. And so what would you say to people, especially this one conservative, I don't remember his last name, Ruskin, something like that?
Was he the
bald-ish
conservative leader?
Yeah.
Come into my classroom. That's what I would say. Come see what we do. People think that we're teaching SOGI, but it's like I grab a book from a shelf and I read a book and we talk about it. I haven't had parents, but other kids or other teachers have had parents say oh, well, tell me when you're teaching SOGI and I'm going to pull my kid.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, it's embedded in everything. It's in, we're talking about animals. We're talking about families. We're talking about relationships. There's a book called something like Bathe the Cat or something, and it has 2 dads, but it's not the key part of the story. But the kids could give 2 shits about it. I had this one book. It's called The Prince and the Knight or something. And the prince has to find his true love, and it ends up being this knight. And so then after I, just close the book and I say, oh, what did you guys think? And they're like, oh, it was so beautiful. They found their true love.
Aww.
I'm like, yeah. Did you see who he was in love with? Yeah. So?
That's sweet.
Some of the kids that question, like, did they get married? And it's like, well, I don't know, maybe. And then they go home and they probably have a conversation with their parents. But I've never gotten any emails or anything.
That's awesome. That makes me think too, to go back to what you just said, they don't give two shits. They don't care because they're young enough that they haven't been indoctrinated to have the hatred, to have the disgust, unless they've already been taught it by someone in their lives.
I did have a student a couple years ago. It would have been right after COVID. That was probably my most challenging group. They weren't bad, but they were just like more on the religious side of things. And she was saying that the government and teachers are working together and I'm like, what do you mean? I'm like, no, that's not true. We're not working together. And she's like, well, the government and teachers are turning girls into boys. And I sat her down and I said, listen, if I had that power, don't you think I would do it for something way cooler?
Yeah, thank you.
I would get my report cards written quickly. I would have a better library in the classroom.
What did she say when you said that to her?
Was I think deep down she knew. Mm-hmm. But at home, the conversation was different. Because she didn't want to tell me where she heard this from. But I'm just like, okay.
A 7-year-old?
She would have been in grade 2. So like 7, 8.
Wow. Yeah. Interesting. Oh, wow. See, so many of them get indoctrinated very young.
Yeah.
I made a crazy TikTok about, because I was feeling so frustrated about all of the rhetoric on queer people, especially queer educators, indoctrinating kids, right? Or trying to, right? Or grooming or whatever. And I'm thinking to myself, the religious right, they are the indoctrinators. They are the numero uno indoctrinators. And hold the mirror up, please. Just hold the mirror up to yourself for a while. And it's very frustrating. Honestly, every baby is born 100% pure love, no preconceived hatred, nothing. Mm-hmm. And it is society. And that's why it's so frustrating to see very little progress really happening in hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years, because nothing changes. I think that you must have a superpower. You do have some sort of superpower. If you are not getting any parent kickback, keep that good energy around you.
Well, maybe I am, and my principal just doesn't tell me.
I don't know, because I can remember my last year teaching was the year I got the most pushback. And that was probably because I was out, a lot for my medical appointments. But I think there's an energy, right? Mm-hmm. When we are weak, physically weak, I honestly think that there are some people who just, their claws come out at those times.
Yeah, it's like a shark.
Yeah, so you must be a really good, strong person, Dallas.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, that's something to keep.
Yeah, well, it helps having a good team behind me. Mm-hmm. My coworkers, yeah.
Yeah, you always mentioned ally teachers, and so.
Yeah, they were probably the first people I came out to when I came out. I think I came out to them even before my family.
Wow.
And I think it was COVID. Mm-hmm. Lesbian TikTok was a thing.
I'm just now on lesbian TikTok. I've missed out so much in life.
You weren't on it when the thirst traps were going on.
No.
You're fighting all these feelings and you're just like, I don't know what's going on. And then, you came out to my friends and they were just like, okay.
Do you remember my reaction?
No, I don't.
I don't remember either, but I remember thinking to myself, because for anyone listening, Dallas and I spent quite a bit of time together. Wouldn't you say, Dallas? In South Korea.
Yeah.
And
Probably like every weekend at least.
Yeah. And then we had our little trio. Remember Josh?
Yeah. Josh.
He was my husband. And I just remember that weekend we all went to the beach.
Yes.
I can't remember.
A picture just came up about that. You're all drinking it from our coconuts.
Send that to me, please. I was thinking about that picture. And so here's... Yeah.
Yeah, so, that was my first
sauna experience,
yeah?
So for anyone who doesn't know about Koreans and their saunas, it's very big in Korea. And if you live near a Koreatown somewhere, wherever you live, you probably have a Korean sauna. We have a bunch of Korean saunas in Los Angeles. Amazing. Yeah. And so the thing with the Korean sauna, though, is you get butt naked. And the year I met Dallas was my last year teaching there. So it was my third year. My first year, I would go to these saunas with friends. Now there's the dressed part called the jjimjilbang, and then there's the naked part called the sauna. And not all my friends, but a few friends we were at the jjimjilbang hanging out, because that's what you do, especially in the winter, because they're nice and warm and toasty. Mm. And they would start stripping, and they'd say, "We're going to the sauna." And I would just look the other way, and I would change my clothes, and I would leave with some other people, right? My second year, I don't think I got naked. I don't think it was until my third year. And then I went on a trip, and there was a sauna there. Mm-hmm. Now, there are also a whole lot of Waygukans, a whole lot of foreign gals on this trip. And so there's a bunch of people said they're going to the sauna. And I said, it's never. I'm doing this, I might as well do it, because I never wanted to do it where I was living, because I always was paranoid about running into a student, right? Because the kids are in there naked with the adults. Just everyone's just naked, right? It's not co-ed, and so Josh, Dallas, and I are at the beach one day, and we're all sandy and we're all gross, and we're getting ready to take the train back to where we were living. And we said, let's shower first. And they had these pay 3,000 won or 5,000 won for an outdoor shower. It was all sandy. It was all gross. And then we saw, there's a jjimjilbang. There's a sauna right next door. Let's go there. So Dallas and I, here we are, getting naked in front of one another.
And you were just like, just stare straight ahead. That's all you have to do.
I said, Dallas, don't look at anyone.
And I didn't.
You did or you didn't? You did? See, I think I black out every time I got naked. I would just black out. I have no idea what your naked body looks like to this day. I have no idea, because I was just tunnel vision or floor. But it's great because they have these hot pools and the cold pools. And
I think it was just the initial, okay, we're going from here to the pools.
Yes.
Once you get in the pool, you're underwater.
That's true. That very long 10-foot walk.
Yep. Seemed like an hour.
Yes. I think I honestly would just black out. I think it was just because probably so much repressed sexuality, right? And just, I'm not looking, I'm not gay, I'm not, because by that point, I'd already had my breakdown when I really came to terms with my sexuality. But the whole year, we're all straight. Josh and I are married. We're going for couples massages where he and I are husband and wife. And he's gay. He's married to a man now. And here we all are. And I think it is so funny. I mean, couldn't make this up.
Yeah. And Jacob.
Oh, yeah, and Jacob.
Yeah. But he never came with us.
No. But he's also gay. See? That whole time, Jacob and Josh could have been dating. You and I could have been dating.
Yeah, I could give you a passport to Canada.
Yeah. Very highly coveted nowadays.
Yes, it is.
I guess y'all rank number 1 in the world now or something. I don't know. At least for the most liked country. So I have good news. I was looking into, SOGI, and I said to myself, California is progressive, right? As far as the states go. So I asked Google, does California have a program like SOGI 123? SOGI. And it said not exactly, but there's PRISM.
Oh.
California made this law that every 7th through 12th grade teacher has to do this 6-module training course called PRISM. And that stands for providing relevant, inclusive support that matters. And it's a 6-course online training for certificated teachers. I had looked into the modules. It seemed okay, good start. But see, actually, I was reading more about it and it said, there's the 6 training modules, but it's only mandated that they have to do 1 hour of training. So I don't know if they're going to try and incorporate a little bit from each of the 6 modules into this mandatory 1 hour of training for 7th through 12th grade teachers, but at least it's a start.
Yeah. With the modules, the training, do the teachers have to then implement it in their class?
I don't think so. I think it's knowledge. Yes, I think it's like a sensitivity training. Yeah, exactly. I think it's knowledge, giving them knowledge in the hopes of them engaging with queer students in a better way. It's cultural competency training is what it says. Yeah. Course 1, Queer, LGBTQ plus 101 and Intersectional Identities. Mm-hmm. Course 2, LGBTQ plus History and Culture.
That'll be interesting.
Course 3, Preventing Bullying, Harassment, and Discrimination for LGBTQ plus students. Course 4, Strategies for Safe and Supportive LGBTQ plus Peer Affinity Clubs to create, more inclusive school climates. That sounds good. Course 5, Suicide Risk Factors, Warning Signs, and Prevention. And then the last one, Course 6, Inclusive Pedagogy and Facilitation. Talking about inclusion across all content areas. Maybe it's giving some curriculum ideas, in that last module, who knows?
Yeah.
But at least there's something. What I didn't understand, though, is it starts this year, and they said 2029, the 2029-30 school year is the last year it needs to be implemented. So that doesn't make sense to me.
Because what is it for grade 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12?
Yeah.
That doesn't make sense.
It just had me thinking maybe this is a beta and they're going to tweak it a little bit. And then in the 2030 school year, have something a little bit tweaked or something.
Yeah. It'd be interesting to see what they do.
Yeah. At least it's something.
Art, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, going back to what you were talking about with all of your SOGI resources and the help, the aids that the ARC Foundation put in place for you all to use, it is one of those things where it's so interesting to me to think about other people's brains and how they think because of all the fear that they have over SOGI in your schools, because how someone can look at resources that are provided to teachers as anything but educating kids, teaching kids that there are other. Mm-hmm. Be other accepting.
Yeah.
Be other accepting.
Be a good human.
Be a good human. Right? It's just wild.
Yeah. I know. Sometimes I want to be a fly on the wall in these people's houses or their brains and just what are you thinking?
Yeah.
You're the center of the world.
And for the people, especially those, the conservative man I saw talking and a bunch of angry parents, so scared and saying, they're trying to make my kid gay. And I honestly look at those people and I think, well, are you gay? Are you gay? And are you just so filled with fear? I don't understand the fear. Mm-hmm. It's hard for me to understand the fear.
Yeah.
Okay. When I was thinking about the fear about SOGI turning their kids gay, it's because these people think that it is a choice. Mm-hmm. That I'm just saying, I want to be gay. Yeah. And so I'm gay. They don't understand the internal.
Oh, yeah.
The
struggle.
The internal reality around gender identity, sexuality, none of it.
Mm-hmm.
Gender expression, none of it.
I know I've had a few conversations with people that I worked with in the past, and they'll just sort of slip it, oh, like, well, it's a choice. And I'm like, nope, not a choice. And like, oh, well, you know what I mean. And it's like, no.
Yeah.
I don't.
Right. Don't focus on your own happiness. No. So that's the only thing that makes sense to me when I think about all these people spewing all this fear about they're making my kid gay or they're trying to make my kid gay.
Like, I just want your kid to write their name on their damn paper.
$5 bills, people.
I want to do
$5 bills. I got $5 bills here. I remember, I don't exactly remember. I had this brief fleeting thought, especially with my firsties, because of course we'd sing the song, right? The first thing on your paper is your name, right? The first thing on my paper is my name.
I don't know
right?
the song.
I think I probably made it up, right? Right? If Miss Taylor sees my paper and it doesn't have my name, well, what a doggone shame. I would sing nonstop with my kinders and my firsties, nonstop. That was probably the highlight of my life with those age groups, right?
Yeah.
But still, song and all, I would get 3 to 4, which I guess is not that many. 3 to 4, though. I'm still saying to myself, we sang this song. We're literally, as a class, singing this song together, and I'm seeing pencils in hand.
But the best part is when you say, whose paper is this? Not mine. Not the question that I asked.
Yes.
It is someone in this room. It is someone here. And then I will even go through the papers and be like, okay, everyone stand up. And I'll be like, okay, monkey and then chicken and whatever. We'll all sit down, and I have 4 people standing in front of me, and I'm like, okay, which one is yours? Well, none of them.
Yeah.
That's not how this works.
Yeah.
One of them is yours. Just take one. Just take
pick
one.
Yeah, pick one. Pick one. I mean, at a certain point of the year, we know they're writing. Especially, I think firsties, my first graders, I knew they're writing even more than my 6th graders, because I think at that age, I don't know, a lot of their handwriting was kind of similar. Yeah, it was the same ones every time. And I would then think to myself, okay, it's always the same kids who aren't writing their names on their paper. I think they're just getting so wrapped up in this fabulous little song we're all singing, and they're just sitting there, right? Yeah. And you're just like, the first thing on my paper is my name, and they're just loving the song, but they're not actually writing. And I was like, okay, that's on me. I'm distracting them with this crazy little song. Oh yeah, I got a lot of songs.
You're gonna have to record them and send them to me.
Okay.
Yeah. Songs with Miss Taylor.
Then you wouldn't even have to use your voice, right?
No, I would save my voice.
Exactly. And we all know how important that is, especially with kinders and firsties.
Oh, yes.
All right, Dallas, thank you so much for coming on my podcast today.
Thanks for having me.
And I am so happy we could chat a little bit about, we don't really talk much about teaching in Korea, but we could do a whole other episode on that if we wanted to go down memory lane.
Good. Closeted queers.
Yeah, exactly. Closeted queers in Korea. Say that again.
You could bring Josh on too.
Oh my goodness, yes, he is sort of an educator. Sort of. Okay, what gay things are you doing these days?
Okay, so I've been listening to a lot more G-Flip and Beth McCarthy because my girlfriend and a friend of mine were going to the concert, so that's been really exciting. And I've been listening to the Handsome podcast. Have you heard of that one?
No, do tell.
Mae Martin. Fortune, I can never
Teamster,
remember.
Fortune,
Yes.
Teamster, and Tig, right?
Yeah. So today's was a really sad one because it was about Andrea Gibson,
Oh,
who
yeah.
Tig worked with. So that was a heartbreaker one, but
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, it's I like listening to because Mae Martin's from Canada, and they did this one, and it was about like jingles or something,
Mm.
and they started singing this jingle, and I was listening from another room or whatever, and I was singing it too, and Fortune and Tig were like, "We have never heard that before."
That's awesome.
Yeah,
And you're like, I love me some Canadian representation.
yeah, yeah.
That's funny. I didn't know that was the name of their podcast, but I've
Yeah.
seen some clips of their podcast. I just didn't know it was called the Handsome Podcast.
Yeah.
That's funny.
So good.
That's
you should
funny.
watch it.
Yeah, I will for sure. Thanks. Yeah, I love me a good podcast, especially this podcast. No, I'm just kidding.
Shameless plug.
Yeah, exactly.
And I also love watching the Lesbian Class.
I thought to myself for a second, I was like, wait a second, I've heard of that one. No. Oh my goodness. Okay, we're getting too loopy here. Well, thank you so much for coming on. You're welcome back anytime.
Thank you for having me.
Part 2. Take us back 15 years plus to Hanguk, South Korea. All right. Stay gay. I don't have an official sign off.
Stay gay.
All right.
Cheers.
Until next time.
Cheers, queers.
Here comes the music.